catches, 1,263 yards, 15 touchdowns. He averaged 18.6 yards per reception. Tremendous breakout season, and he joins us via the Subway Fresh Take hotline. And, Jordy, it was great to see you be able to have such a special season this year, but automatically that means you're going to get that much more attention this year. What are you working on within your game to become even better?
Just continue to fine-tune things. Obviously, like you said, the year I had last year, there'll be more film on me on how I do things, how I run my routes, so I have to continue to create new ways to run routes to where DBs aren't trying to be able to jump it and pick up any signs of how I'm going to run like an in-breaking route or a fade or something, and then just continue to get better. With our offense, it's hard for them to focus on one person because we got Jermichael at tight end, Greg on the other side of myself, so it's hard for them to double one or double all of us. So you're going to get that one-on-one matchup, and you got to make a play and make it hurt when you get it.
Jordy, how you just rattled off a few names there. I mean, it's just a who's who on that offense. How scary can this offense be? Have we even seen it click at its best?
I think you've seen it close, especially if you look back in the playoff run when we were at Atlanta. We were throwing the ball around and Aaron was on fire. He was throwing it to anyone and everyone who was out there. We were just running our routes, and he was throwing to the open guys. So I think our run game can pick up a little bit more. But again, it's hard to be consistent in that when we, throw it as much as we do. But we're mainly just trying to be consistent throughout the whole game. When third down comes up, convert to third down. When we get in the red zone, obviously we want to score touchdowns. So I think that's our goal this year. Is for as good as we were last year, there's spots in probably each game that we kind of got in a lull and didn't finish it or complete a drive like the way we wanted to.
We're talking to Jordy Nelson, outstanding wide receiver, Green Bay Packers. With Ian Fitzsimmons, I'm Chuck Wilson, SportsCenter Sunday on ESPN Radio. Jordy, we always look at this quarterback-receiver relationship, getting on the same page, working together, being able to read each other so well. Can you describe that relationship that you've developed with Aaron Rodgers?
It's something that's been a work in progress. I'm going into my fifth year now, and again, I think every year it's gotten better, obviously, and I try to do my best to take what he says in meetings or even on the field and try to remember it and apply it next time it comes up. I always say I try to eavesdrop on his conversations with other guys because if I happen to get put in that situation, I want to be able to, do it right the first time and not screw it up and then him have to tell me like he told the other guys. So I think just continue to ask questions. I sit by him now in meeting rooms. I ask him questions all the time of how exactly he wants it ran or if he would rather, us sit instead of run out of it or stuff like that. So, again, I think the more you ask, the more you find out, the better position you'll be in. And then once you make plays, the confidence that he'll have in you will grow, and he'll continue to look for you.
Jordy, what most impresses you about what Aaron can do with a football?
I think the spots he can put. He can, throw. Obviously, everyone sees the back shoulder ball that we throw, and then we see more incredible throws probably in practice than we do in games because we just see more balls. But the way he can spot a ball on someone's back shoulder or, over a defensive guy's shoulder that's, he can't look that way. Or, even today he looked off a guy, big time to the flat and then didn't even look at me on a crossing route and just threw it back into the crossing route. So stuff like that he just, again, he continues to work on different things and, guys are going to try to read his eyes and get a jump on what he's going to do. But if he's able to be creative like that, then, he'll be able to stay at the top of his game.
Jordy, how has this journey been for you? Going back as a walk-on DB at Kansas State, and you're a small-town Kansas guy, and all of a sudden you become, the nickname, the People's Champ at Kansas State, being that local guy, and now all of a sudden Chuck rattled off the numbers. Over 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 18 yards per catch. You were one of the heroes in winning a Super Bowl and bringing the Lombardi back to Green Bay. When you look back on the journey from high school to where you are right now, is it almost surreal for you?
It is. I'm just hanging on and enjoying every moment of it, and I think my family's doing the same thing. I think when everything's all said and done and when I retire from this game and move on with my life, then I'll be able to really sit down and look back and maybe enjoy it more. But I'm just hanging on, enjoying every moment of it because with this game, it can be your last game, last day, any moment. So I'm just trying to make the most of it, have fun with it, and make as many memories as possible. And then when I'm done, I can sit down and, look through some clippings and pictures and just sit back and, maybe hopefully smile and be proud of what I was able to accomplish over all these years.
Well, you've got one ring after winning one, and then what happened to you guys after that remarkable regular season last year. How much more driven are you guys, having had that taste, you've gotten that ring, and then the failure from last year? Jordy? And I think we may just have lost Jordy to
Jordy there.
Selville.
Yeah, I think we just lost him. Good question. I was just about where I was hoping. Yeah, we go because they lost that late edge. Yeah,
we got him. Okay, Jordy, we got you. Hello, Jordy.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Okay. We got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left. We were just talking, sorry we lost you there in Selville for a moment. After winning that first Super Bowl, and you had such a big part in that, you're one of the stars in that game, and then what happened in the playoffs last year, how much does that drive this team this season?
I mean, it's there. As much as you try to forget about it, and you want to move on because you don't want to dwell on a loss because, it might continue, if you're continuing thinking about the past and you're not going to be able to play your best at that moment, but you just got to learn from your mistakes. Like you said, we handled the ball extremely well all year. Aaron had 6 picks. We only had maybe a couple fumbles, but then came the Giants game. We had 4 turnovers in one game, and it just wasn't the way we played. So we know that we had to play our best football like we did when we won the Super Bowl when it comes time, and that's playoff time. 15-1 was great, but everyone's goal is to get into the playoffs, and then once you get into the tournament, you got to make a run. So you got to play your best football at the right time. We realize that, and you can't take anything for granted. I mean, the Giants came in and played well, and forced the turnovers, and were able to get on a run like we did.
Hey, Jordy, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We wish you well. Thanks for joining us on ESPN Radio. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Jordy.
Good story, good guy. I mean, it's easy guy to root for.
His story, if you didn't know it, is one of the more remarkable ones in the NFL. I mean, a walk-on DB at Kansas State. They flip him over to wide receiver. He's playing with Josh Freeman, obviously, now quarterback at Tampa Bay Bucks, and he's also a great punt returner, kick returner, and he just worked harder than the other guy across from him, and now look at him. I mean, you mentioned the numbers, Chuck, in his 5th year. He's becoming one of those really good receivers, if not borderline elite receivers on a really good team in the National Football League.